Greetings and salutations. Welcome to a brand new edition of Holding Court here on the First Day Hoops Report YouTube channel. I am, of course, First Day Hoops Report founding editor and Holding Court host Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. As you can see in the background and on the t-shirt, it is holiday time. Yes, I am one of those people that absolutely gets jazzed up about Christmas. I actually can't wait to bake a whole bunch of cakes and cookies on Christmas Eve. That's one of my traditions, but very much excited for the Christmas holiday. Whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, hopefully you still get, to enjoy the time off before we get into a week of tournaments, because not this week coming, but the couple days after Christmas, we've got Diamond State, we've got the Viking Classic, the Slam Dunk to the Beach, and the Governor's Challenge. A few teams are going to be going out of state over the holidays. Well, the Governor's Challenge is out of state. I mean, it's on the Eastern Shore. But, I mean, literally like going to New Jersey, South Carolina in a couple of cases. So very much interesting time of year for high school basketball in Delaware because almost nobody plays each other. We're all, really into the throes of tournament season. And I think it's interesting that a lot of schools, the ones that want to contend, have kind of latched on to this formula of let's see how we look against teams that we don't see every day and that we will not see after Christmas. And I find that to be interesting because in a lot of cases, it doesn't, I won't say it doesn't tell you anything about your team. It honestly tells you a lot about your team. But what it does say is that basketball in Delaware, while it's growing, it still has some growing pains, because a lot of the times when kids, get up against kids from New Jersey, the DMV, anywhere in North Carolina, South Carolina, in some cases, Florida, New York City, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, these kids, we think, those of us who have been local our entire lives, we feel like that this is a new style of high school sports. No, these folks have been doing it around the country for years. So it's not really a point of emphasis to say, it's not unusual to feel like, okay, wow, this is really weird that we've got kids playing each other out of state rather than playing each other. No, they do it all the time everywhere else. So it's the new era of high school sports, basically, especially high school basketball. And very much looking forward to getting everybody back in state playing against each other. The two games I went to this week feel like they could be indicators for how good these teams can be and how they may struggle in certain areas. I went to see Cape Henlopen versus Smyrna girls on Tuesday. That game, to me, I feel like it's proof that Cape, while they're young and they really need to find another scorer, because Amalia Fruitman and Faith Ray, you can't go wrong with those two as a dynamic duo, but they need just like one more solid scorer. And Maya Mall, their senior guard, she hit 2 big 3-pointers in the fourth quarter to help them beat Smyrna. So, maybe Maya becomes that third scorer. If she can get to about 11, 12 a game, then yeah, Cape will be really good again. I feel like they've already got a jump on the Henlopen North because Smyrna was their tough. Smyrna and Polytech were their toughest competition last year. It feels like Polytech is kind of falling off the map a little bit, with a slow start, but they can always pick it back up. Smyrna, meanwhile, feels like that. I'm not going to say that was their best chance because, again, they'll play at Cape. I think it's either January 7th or January 9th, either one of the two. Either way, it's about 3 or 4 weeks away. So it's not that far away for Smyrna to have another chance. And the way the Henlopen Conference does it is the way every conference in the state should do it. You play each other twice, and if there's a tiebreaker at the end of the season, you have the tiebreaker game for the conference championship. None of this, points differential and all of that foolishness, common opponents. Play each other, please and thank you. That would be very nice. So, yeah, I feel like, learn and not to take anything away from Smyrna either. They play a really, fun style of basketball is that they're really aggressive on defense, and then that turns into really easy baskets for Kai Burnett, Amaya Ellerby, Skylar Curley, and Talani Pierce, really good on the boards. They finish around the basket. So that Smyrna team is going to be really good again this year. They kind of snuck up on folks last year because when I saw them play Middletown, the first time I seen them play all year, I went to go see them play at Middletown on a whim because I needed to see who was I going to see for All State? Sanaa Savage. She's at Shawan College in North Carolina right now. So I went to go see Sinai Savage for All-State, for All-State voting. And then that Smyrna team just absolutely surprising. And then I saw who their coach was. I was like, oh, that's Eric. He played at Caravel. Okay, all right, cool. So, yeah, he knows his way around the game. And that Smyrna team really snuck up on folks last year. They're not going to have the benefit of being able to sneak up on people this year. Everybody's going to be expecting their best shot. I know they got a couple out of conference games. They actually come up here to play Howard in February. I'm probably going to go to that one because I need to see Howard's girls as well. But overall, that game to me really said that Cape, as long as they can defend and rebound, because they got two really good rebounders, Hayden Hudson and Haven Green. And if those two girls can just close down the middle like they often do, then, yeah, I feel like that Cape team can win the North and probably the Henlopen as a whole, because I'll talk more about that probably in another show. The other game I saw this week was only my second boys game of the year. If you've noticed, First State Hoops Report in the early stages of the season is really heavy on girls action because the girls kind of get swept under the rug by other publications. But we give everybody, their just due around here. So I've seen 10 of the 24 girls teams that made the state tournament last year. Can anybody else say that? I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, I went to go see the game, arguably the game of the night. It was obviously a game of the night Thursday. Probably ended up being the game of the week, honestly, was William Penn at St. Elizabeth. And that game got off to such a rousing start on both sides. And then St. E just kind of took over. William Penn has, a situation that, off the court. Well, it was an on-court thing that turned off the court that turned kind of, awkward, and it was an ugly scene, honestly. It wasn't that ugly, but it was still something that if you were there and you saw it, it was just like, whew. It's just one of the things where you just kind of like scratch your head and just you're kind of at a loss for words. But on the court, St. E has scorers, plenty of them. They had 5 guys scoring double figures. Julius Wright had 24. Aiden Tobias, who's going to Temple, had 15. Tobias Reese had 14, Stephen Nixon Jr. and Kyan Alexander. I saw Kyan Alexander at Nigel Alexander's One Journey thing, and I thought that he was a really good point guard, set up the offense, get guys open. Don't leave him open. Don't. It's against your best interest. He made, I think he was 3 or 4 from 3-point range, and then when somebody finally got out on him, he was able to create his own shot with a little, in and out dribble and then get a floater off the glass. He's a 9th grader. And if he has a growth spurt, he's gonna be one of them ones. So that St. E's team, I think Mike Cassidy and his staff was a little unnerved when I talked to them after the game. I said, this is a Final Four team. And I firmly believe it. They are a Final Four team. They were 13-7 last year. They missed the state tournament by like a technicality and one of those, point differentials or whatever. Oh my God. Whew, so annoying. But yeah, I don't think missing the state tournament is gonna happen for St. E's this year. Not by a long shot. They have everything that you need, probably except like, an imposing big man. But when you have a guy like Aiden Tobias, who's 6'5", who can defend on the interior as well as on the perimeter, and of course on the offensive end, he's an inside-out guy as well. You don't need, a 6'11", a 6'9" guy. It'd be nice, but it's not something that's going to hurt St. E's, I think. So. They've got the depth. They have depth. The 5 guys, they had 5 guys scoring double figures that I mentioned. And Kenny Hunter Jr. just missed out. I think he had 8 or 9 points. So that's a team where it's literally pick your poison. If you take Aiden away, still got Julius. You take Julius away, you got Stephen Nixon Jr. You take him away. You've seen that Kyan Alexander can get off. If you try to, lock down the reserve 9th grade point guard, then Kenny Hunter Jr. can nail 3-pointers. So, yeah, that St. E's team is a lot to like. There's still a lot to like about William Penn, too. Like, don't let that game and the things surrounding that game steer you away from that team. That's still going to be a very good team. Of course, Gary Lumpkin and Tell Davis, they are William Penn. They're going to have those guys ready regardless of the situation. Jalen Horsley is a 3-level scorer. Inside, he can get to the basket. Mid-range is nice. And, of course, we know, he's one of those kids you got to guard from the parking lot. Because he had a couple of those long 3-pointers against St. E's. He scored 23 points. William U is getting a guy who can change their program around. And not to say that William U doesn't have a good program, because Dan Burke does a damn good job of that program anyway. But now you have a guy that can be like, I don't want to say the franchise because I mean we're talking about college sports. There are no franchises in college sports, but yeah, he's a guy that could be the face of your program. Make no mistake about it, Jalen Horsey, and he'll probably be one of the ones that's in deep consideration for first team All State if he keeps shooting like he's shooting so far this season. So that game to me showed me a lot about St. E's, and it showed me a lot about William Penn too, because St. E's probably should have won that game by like 35 or 40, the way it worked out. But Horsey, Emmanuel Vonham, who myself, G. Johnson, and Mike Bryce, we started calling him Adrian Dantley because if you've heard me talk about Adrian Dantley on the show before, I mentioned that in terms of Maya Hill, the forward for the DMA girls basketball team. I think I'm going to go see DMA play Middletown on Thursday. Not sure yet. Don't hold me to it, but if you see me there, don't be surprised. Adrian Dantley, allegedly 6'4". One of the greatest scorers to ever play in the NBA in the 1980s. He scored over 23,000 points for his career, led the league in scoring, I want to say 4 or 5 times. He averaged 33 times at 6'4", playing the power forward position, not a small forward position, the power forward position. Allegedly 6'4". Someone that I know said they stood next to Adrian Dantley and he was literally 6'2". So maybe he was listed at 6'4". But we're talking about undersized forwards and bigs. And Emmanuel Vonham is generously listed at 6'3". But that kid plays with so much heart and intensity, and he can get up off the floor really quickly because that probably helps. Because I mean, if he was like one of those 6'1" guys that you couldn't really, that can't jump over the Sunday paper, then yeah. But Emmanuel Vonham, he gets up off the floor very, very quickly and over the rim. So he works hard. Elam McCoy, Mahari Campbell, Jari Coles. There's a lot to like about William Penn still. I still think they give Flight A run for their money. I feel like, matter of fact, if you had to make me, pick a Flight A winner right now, I still think it's William Penn. I mean, Middletown has a ton of talent. Apple has a ton of talent. Can't sleep on Mount or St. George's. There's a lot to like about Flight A, and I still feel like William Penn, for what they do and how they do it, has to be the favorite in Flight A to start the season. But again, it's December 18th December 17th, as I'm recording this. Still got a whole 2.5 months to go before we get to that part, until we cross that bridge. So what else is going on? I think that, again, it's hard to really say because a lot of the schools aren't playing each other. Howard, I forgot. Howard had a good run on the boys' side at the Hammer and Nail tournament. Still trying to figure out their name behind that. So if anyone in the Votech district would be so kind as to leave something in the comments as to what it is that, calls it the Hammer and Nail, because I'm a Votech grad and maybe this is just a new way of branding the district. I don't know, I mean, I graduated from Howard in 1999. There wasn't a St. George's when I was in high school. The big three was Howard, Delcastle, and Hodson. And Hodson, honestly, had just started to become a full-time day school earlier in that decade, because my old boss when I worked at Claymont Library, my supervisor, she once upon a time when she was a student at Dickinson, she said, yeah, when I wanted to be a nurse, I used to have to go to Dickinson to start my day and then catch the bus to Hodson for the second half of the school day. And I'm not gonna put her age out there, but obviously this was a while ago, a long time ago. So Hodson was just starting to become a thing in the 90s. But now there's 4 Votech schools in Newcastle County: St. George's, Hodson, Delcastle, and Howard. So that's why they went ahead and put together a Votech tournament, which I think is pretty cool anyway, because everybody has their invitationals. Dickinson has one, Red Lion has one, Friends has one, AI has one. You might as well put something together that gets teams to see each other during the course of the early parts of the season. And then I don't know if that counts as a conference game for either one of those teams, because I know Delcastle and St. George's played each other. That could be considered a Flight A game. Hodson and Howard played each other. That could be considered a Flight B game. So very interesting times. But yeah, I feel like Howard has a very interesting schedule because they have Newark next week, and then they go play at the boys and the girls are both playing at the same classic in somewhere in South Carolina. And South Carolina, I want to say this: South Carolina is actually a very beautiful state. Not gonna lie to you. I was on a college tour when I was 16, and we went through Greenville, South Carolina, and went to the Cracker Barrel there. Yeah, the racism will probably knock you for a loop, but the scenery is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, South Carolina is a wonderful looking state. I mean, you just have to be mindful of your moves. If you just saying, just putting that out there. But I know the Howard kids in the administration will take care of them and take care of themselves. They're fine. But yeah, that's an interesting schedule because after that, then Howard picks up, Flight B play, and then they have a game at Sal's. If it works out, I'll be on the call with Sean Green for that one on WDEL. More information on my WDEL appearances if they're forthcoming in the future. I did 3 or 4 games with Sean last year. Had a blast doing them. Would love to do them again. Me and Sean have talked about it. He's still trying to figure out his schedule because he has so many options to do games with him. I mean, I'm not the only one in the state of basketball who can talk sports. I mean, state of basketball. The state of Delaware who can talk basketball. I mean, he had Sue Campert, who, of course, won championships as a player at Padua and was a winning coach at Ursuline. Coach Eileen Volts, who's taking a year off this year for personal reasons. I want to send our best wishes to Coach Volts. She lost her mom recently. She's been one of the ones who has always been a help with First State Hoops Report, with getting information to us and different things of that nature. So definitely want to send Coach Volts our best wishes, during this holiday season, which I swear absolutely has to be tough for her and her family. Yeah, Sean's got a lot of people that he can work with, and I consider myself very lucky to be in that class of people. So if you hear me on WDEL this year, know that I'm very excited to be on there, and be sure to listen to the entire broadcast because I'm obviously going to, add my spin, add my own little thing as to how high school basketball is in Delaware. And I'm very excited for that opportunity if it arises again this year. So yeah, Howard at Sal's. The good news is for me is I live right down the block up the block from Sal's, so I could walk to Sal's. That's probably going to be what I'm going to do a lot this year because Sal's only has like 6 or 7 home games. So probably just going to take a little quarter-mile walk down the block with my camera on my back for those games, and especially in the state tournament, and go from there. So yeah. Other than that, again, we're still trying to, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to manage these tournaments because, I mean, I'm not going downstate, unfortunately. It's just not in the cards for me to be at Slam Dunk or the Governor's Challenge this year because I've been so busy with my day job. Like literally yesterday, I worked all day covering the Celebration Bowl. I didn't get to go this year. They asked me would I go to Atlanta, and I had to turn it down because I'm here for y'all. I'm here for basketball in the state of Delaware, and they're talking about hopefully everybody goes to Atlanta next year. So I may have to take a week off next year because I love Atlanta. I went to Atlanta for a work engagement last year, and I was only there for about 60 hours. No, not 60 hours, 36 hours. Loved Atlanta. Had a good time there. Would love to spend an entire week in Atlanta covering Black college football, which is what I do for my day job at HBCU Sports. Cover HBCU Sports. So yeah. If they ask me to go to Atlanta next year, I'll have to catch you guys after the holidays. Yeah, I'm sorry. But, it's interesting, I want to talk about that really quickly because in a state where, in a state of media business where you have to have more than one hustle, more than one way of, getting your content out there and creating income for yourself, I really feel like that, the job HBCU Sports came at a time when I needed it the most, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And I have so much fun doing it. The times I do get to go out and cover Black college sports, or get kids and ADs and administrators on the phone and do these really neat features about NIL and different things of that nature. It's awesome. It's dope, and it's something that I've always wanted to do because I started off as a Black college sports writer because I covered Delaware State sports when I was a student at Delaware State. And First State Hoops Report was something that just, I don't want to say it fell out of the sky. I mean, it was something that I took 2 years to develop because the idea for First State Hoops Report actually came off to me in 2017. And I didn't really start getting started until 2019. So that was something that took 2 years to develop because I had to, work on some personal things, some financial, get my financial house in order. And literally doing 2 things at one time is not easy. It's not. But when you love what you do and you have fun doing it and people appreciate what you do, that's the key. Because no one wants to go through life feeling underappreciated or unappreciated, whether it's relationships, friendships, professional life. You want to feel like, people appreciate you and what you do. And that's why I am kind of sort of, very much serious about defending or just serious about calling out foolishness whenever foolishness arises, because you're only, as Erykah Badu once said, and I'm going to keep this PG-13 because, I don't like to, have kids feeling like, okay, Mr. Chris cusses, I can cuss too. I mean, cussing, sometimes it's warranted, other times it's not. But yeah, Erykah Badu once said, keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish. And I'm sensitive about what I do. So, and because I love it so much, it's fun going to the gym every day. Every time I'm in there, talking to, coaches, talking to players, shooting the breeze with other photographers and, folks in the stands who I know or who know me. And it's awesome. I mean, it's a blast. I mean, I feel very blessed and fortunate and lucky to do what I do. I mean, granted, I would like to do it at a higher rate. Once again, First Day Hoops Report is not a moneymaker at this point. So whatever I do literally is off the strength. But again, if you would like to donate to the cause, the GoFundMe link will be in the description below. And there, again, I'm going to put this out there. I want to have advertisers. So if you know of anybody who has a business that they want to, put on our website or sponsor our YouTube videos or even sponsor Instagram reels, I'm down. Again, contact information will be in the description below. So everything that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about this week, because I didn't have that much to talk about because everybody's, out of state playing. There's some interesting things bubbling under the surface, but we'll probably talk about those another time. We probably won't talk about them next week because next week is Christmas Eve. And Christmas Eve, Chris Stevens will be in his kitchen baking Christmas sugar cookies, chocolate chip cookies. Let's see what else. Carrot cake, cream cheese pound cake. You guys are probably wondering if I'm pushing myself into diabetes. No, I'm cooking this I'm baking this for other people. Probably gonna take most of these to my mom's house for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. So I'll probably leave one cake for myself. But but the cakes and likely the cookies are probably going over somebody else's, over my mom's house for the holiday. But so there won't be a holding court Christmas Eve. There may be one New Year's Eve. I haven't decided yet. I may do one New Year's Eve, or I may just mess around and do one, or may just do one New Year's Day, because nobody's going to be out New Year's Day. Everybody's going to be in the house chilling. So I may just do one New Year's Day. Everybody's going to be in the house chilling New Year's Eve. We'll figure it out. But yes, holding court is off next week. Holding court will be off for Christmas Eve because we believe in celebrating the holidays. And even if you don't celebrate a holiday, just take the use of the time off and enjoy it. Because after that, we hit the ground running from January 2nd all the way until March 9th. Nothing NBB, nothing but basketball. Very much excited for what this season has in store. Very much excited to bring it to you. So thank y'all for watching this edition of Holding Court. Greatly appreciate y'all's time as always. Once again, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our website, our donation link, all of that stuff, contact email will be in the description below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when all new First Day Hoops Report content drops on this particular page. Thank y'all for watching. Please enjoy your holidays. We will see you around New Year's or New Year's Eve. Till that time, we'll also see you in the gym. Oh, yeah. We haven't decided yet whether it's Diamond State or Viking Classic. We may do both. Anyway, until we see y'all in the gyms, enjoy the holidays. Take care of yourselves and each other.